Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Inigo. This is going to be the last episode before Thanksgiving. I just want to go over a couple things. Um, Sorry about that. I wanted to start. I was going to just go over some of Biden's appointments, cabinet appointments, his foreign policy staff, and the reaction to them on the left. And you can already see the Civil War brewing on that side. And then I'll just touch on a couple topics that I'm going to expand on after the holiday. But I wanted to start with this tweet from Michael Tracy, and this is something I've been in my personal life been talking about with a lot of my I've been calling them the back to brunch crew, who are just so relieved that Trump is leaving and the world is going to go back to the way it was and everything's going to be normal again. And they're upper middle class, white, mostly liberals, cosmopolitan liberals. So they're also the ones that are freaking out that Trump is going to coup the election and go through the electoral college, and here's his conspiracy that he's going to steal the election, and this is an unprecedented event, and how could he possibly do that? And I remember Michael Tracy pointing this out on the Tim Pool show, that this happened back in 2016, and everybody seems to have forgotten about it. So today he did this. I knew it would be widely denied that prominent liberals floated in an electoral college coup in 2016, which is why I saved a bunch of examples. So he went ahead and did that. There's also video that you can find. It's about a minute long, of all these celebrities, I guess, speaking to the Republican electors and pleading with them to do the right thing for the country and be heroic and vote for somebody. You guys are there to protect America against somebody who's unfit to lead, taking the reins of the blah blah blah. And these are the same people now that are tweeting out, the same exact humans that are tweeting out that what Trump is doing and fighting the election results is a threat to our democracy and destroying our democracy, and this is unprecedented, blah, blah, blah. So, let's just go through some of these fucking examples. And these are people that, of course, Chris Hayes. Excuse me. There's Chris Hayes, who now acts like he never said that. Peter Beinard, the Electoral College was meant to stop men like Trump from being president. Exact same time. Literally the exact week. The Electoral College must stop him, or Congress, or some other body. This is scary. And I don't know who the hell that is, some guy. But you harbor doubts about the temperance of a man who makes up stuff about non-existent fraud after winning. This is 2016, not this year. They're talking about fraud, him saying stuff about fraud in 2016. Then they went on to Russiagate for the next 3 years. Also, Hillary Clinton was involved in this by trying to get the CIA to sit the Electoral College down and show them all the quote-unquote evidence of Russiagate and the Russia collusion and the Russia interference in the election. This is Steven Pinker, who Joe Rogan and other idiots jerk off to and get all excited about how smart he is, and he's such a genius because he works at Harvard and he's a bibbidi-bobbin and Scooby-Doo, with his stupid fucking hair. Sign the petition, elect Hillary Clinton as our next president. Like, just another cult member. The New Republic, the Electoral College should do what it wants. Everybody's favorite shitty economist, Paul Krugman. Between Comey and the popular vote, You can make a strong case that Trump's victory was fundamentally illegitimate, but where to go with this? There you go. And finally, Jennifer Palmieri, wonder if he knows that the Electoral College hasn't even met yet. This is literally stuff you're seeing people on the right say now when they're doing the Biden our president transition emails and articles, and them saying, oh, the Electoral College hasn't even met yet, and Tim Pool's out there saying, oh, it's gonna change. Yeah, every election. So yeah, this is just showing, like, the people who ironically post this kind of stuff now, the opposite, are just the way I look at it, they're there for my entertainment because they think they're so elitist and smart and well versed, and they know nothing. They know nothing. So yeah, there was that. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes. Mr. Biden is rolling out his cabinet and saying things like America is back, which means, Obama's third term filled with imperialism and militarism wrapped up in feminism and decorum and decency and cosmopolitan feelings and all that kind of garbage. That's pretty much what he's pushing. And we see that by the people he's putting in power. So we have this guy who looks like somebody who hates his own daughters. Anthony Blinken. He'll be the Secretary of State. He was the Deputy Secretary of State under Obama, and he's been the National Security Advisor to Biden going back throughout his career, which means that he's been loyal to Biden, and he's also pushed for all the wars. He's just the liberal, neoliberal establishment guy. He's already come out and said we will stand with Israel in the Middle East, 100%. He pushed for Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and Libya, all the wars. But of course, he's being applauded as being, just the way that they tried to sell people on Hillary Clinton. He has experience and he knows how the system works, and he's going to bring decorum and decency back to the State Department. And then we have this little gremlin. What's her name? Avril Haines. She's going to be the Director of National Intelligence. She was the Deputy Director of the CIA under Obama. If you ever watched the movie The Torture Report, she's one of the people that when Obama came in, and some of the members of the Democratic Party thought they were going to then go after all the torturers from the Bush administration. She was one of them who ran cover for the CIA torturers in the Bush administration. She's going to be working with Gina Haspel, who is the torture queen in the administration. She also made sure that nobody in the CIA that was illegally spying on the Senate Oversight Committee of the CIA was brought to justice for literally spying on the people who were supposed to be overseeing them. So she's just another gremlin creature, but because she's a female, we will applaud her. There was some tweet where this guy said, here's what you're getting out of Avril Haines. She built a boat, or I think she built a plane by herself. She knows she's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and she's one of the greatest humans in the world. And he's a journalist. These are the Swamp Thing people, the swamp creatures. These are the brunch people that, if you go to New York, they're going to act like everything's okay now. All those friends that you went to college with, and they again, if you look who voted for Biden, it was I think it was 79% of GDP is produced by the areas and counties that voted for Biden. It's all rich, suburban white people and people living in cities, power centers, and money people. It's not the small guy anymore. That's who's running the Democratic Party. They're the party of Wall Street, and your friend who thinks we're going to save the environment and I care about all the poor people, they are going to applaud these blood-soaked war criminals for the next 4 years because they have the right skin tone and reproductive systems. Some good news, well, kinda. This little demon child, we talked about previously. What's her name? Florian? Yeah. She's going to be Secretary of Defense. She wasn't announced at the same time as these other criminals by Biden because of some progressive pushback. So we'll see what happens, but eventually she'll make it in. And what's good to see is, all over my Twitter feed at least, and I've been posting it everywhere, you're seeing people digging up all the history of these people. Samantha Power's back floating around. Who else? Susan Rice. All these people from the Obama administration that the nerds like me knew about. And all their braggadocious videos and quotes about how they pushed for war in Syria and they made sure that the Libya thing happened and they got the funding for this, and they're all career swamp creatures. Yeah. So this is what you're getting with Biden. And then just some stories I wanted to touch on before the break here. Looks like Afghanistan, we're still moving forward. It sounds like there's still some hope for a deal, some breakthrough before January. So hopefully that continues in the correct direction. There is a bill to end the war in Yemen, and it wasn't put up by this guy. It was put up by Rep. Peter DeFazio. He's a Democrat. And it has seven other co-sponsors, 3 of which are Republicans, and 1 of which is this guy, Matt Gaetz from Florida. And I'm seeing his name pop up a lot in good terms when it comes to war. I don't know if it's kind of a cover, but I'll take his vote. He's been pushing for the war. He's on all the bills to end the war in Yemen, to bring the troops home in Afghanistan. He just seems like a decent human being. So, relative to other politicians. So I'm going to somebody to keep our eye on going into the Biden administration, where the Republicans there's going to be the few and far between on both sides pushing to end some wars. You got the Rand Pauls and the Justin Amash's, Thomas Massie in the House, Matt Gaetz, this guy, and then the Progressive Caucus and the progressives in the House, some of which are fighting the Afghanistan withdrawal because it's Trump doing it, which is just insane. But yeah, somebody to pay attention to. And then there's a new hotspot in war going on in the world. Now, right now, I don't see any U.S. involvement other than they're a major ally, and that's in Ethiopia. So, I'll do a larger, longer video on this going forward. I have to do my own research, to be honest, but we are stationed in Yemen, as we've discussed. So we have troops in Yemen, troops in Somalia. We've been in Somalia. We've been fighting some guerrilla war, drone, anti-insurgency war in Somalia since the 90s, pretty much off and on. We all know what's going on in Yemen. So now we have Ethiopia, which has been one of our major allies in the region. We've actually used them to invade Somalia a couple times and really do some damage. Boko Haram has attacked into Ethiopia, and Al-Shabaab and other groups from Somalia have attacked into Ethiopia. So there's a tension there. But this is Tigray up here, I think it's called, is a liberation area of Ethiopia, and from what I've seen, there's been a movement in that region for decades, going back to the 70s. And beginning of the month, there was a major offensive that in the capital of the region, Mekelle, whatever it's called here, and the Tigray liberation people are saying that it was in self-defense against the central government. So the central government retaliated, and now we have a refugee crisis spilling over into Sudan. And I believe that's northern Sudan, which is United States supported. Southern Sudan, which is on the south bottom left here of this photo, is more Chinese backed. So these are just where the players are situated, and if this gets out of hand, where we could see especially a neoliberal democratic administration like Biden getting involved and saying, here, it's a humanitarian crisis in Africa, and we need to go in and pick a side and save them. So we'll dig in behind the scenes and see what kind of U.S. interests we have in the region and how they can be exploited to get boots on the ground and expand our footprint in Africa. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some kind of backing of the Tigray movement by either the Chinese against the Americans or the Americans against the Chinese. Who knows? But I haven't done my research, but it's something I'm going to look into going into December. And then we have the Electoral College nonsense, and we'll see where that goes. But again, that's where we're going to be headed into the new year. And that's going to be it for today. I'll link to everything below. You can check out my other videos over on Decentralized, the Information War YouTube channel. I think everything still moves over to BitChute in case I get banned for speaking out on stuff. And then you can also find me on Twitter. Just look up Inigo, Inigo Hill on Twitter, and you'll find me there, just kind of being sarcastic and a little bit of an asshole to the swamp creatures. So, until next time, this has been Inigo. Enjoy your holiday. Go see your family. Go have turkey. Violate your government's rules, and enjoy your holiday.